All right. Hello. Hi. Mic check. 1, 2, 3, mic check. Hello, mic check. Can we hear me now? Sorry about that. I was having some microphone issues on my end. Heard the doggo? Yeah. He wanted to say hello. Hi, everybody. How are we doing today? Happy Thursday. Wow. Thursday again already. Let's get some camera action here going. How we doing? Hope we're all having a good time. How's everybody's week been? Doing pretty good. Busy. But yeah, it's Dev Stream Day. It's gonna be a fun time. Well, I'm happy everybody's here. Today we have a bit of a shorter stream today compared to others. Just with a couple follow-ups on some things being worked on, being fixed, things to expect in a future updates. Again, there's no ETA with the update, but expect to see some of these changes that we're going to talk about today coming in the next one. And once my game is done doing its thing, we're going to go check out some Plant Species W. But first, as always, we're going to open up this stream with a QA segment. I see some people having questions coming in the chat here. It's going to be a bit of a longer one. We're going to go about 20 minutes for this QA segment. And going to open the floor to you guys. I want to ask you more specifically in regards to the game itself, Aquatica itself and the DLC. Obviously with sharing your experience or you're encountering bugs, but also with development of potentially doing guide videos, right? Tutorials, because people have been asking how to craft certain materials, where to find certain resources, things like that. And that's something that people have brought up in previous streams. So if you have any ideas for additional guide videos, which a few are already in the works, please, by all means, shoot them out there. But let me scroll back up here. I want to get through and start these questions. Turn this down a little bit more. Also, guys, if I don't get to your question or if I pass over it on accident, Jammy Egg will be in the chat. Jammy, give a wave, say hello, as well as other developers will be in the chat as well, taking screenshots of your questions, of your bug reports and statements, and we'll be putting them to our developer chat as well. Can you show us the Vulcanithus boss fight today? I think it's way too hard. Would be nice to see a POV from a dev inside of it. Won't be doing any boss fights for this stream, just because it's more on the shorter end of the stream time today, just with content, essentially. While we don't have like a big patch or update to talk about that's being pushed out today, we do have some notes on fixes and things to expect to see when this next update comes. Will you add the main maps? So Studio Sirens was brought to solely focus on and build Aquatica. We don't have any information on whether or not we're touching the other maps. That's not for us to say. We have been hearing a lot of feedback regarding the artifact caves for builds. We do have it on a list, and the team has been talking about it. We don't have an ETA on when something of the sort that will be addressed, just because of the other higher priority issues. Like, we're still currently working on fixes for and addressing the server issues, such as server transfers, things like that, as well as adding optimization and stabilizing the map and the FPS for players, and other bugs that are causing crashes for players as well. So we're addressing those before we move to any features like being able to open artifact caves up to build in. We know that artifact caves are buildable in PvP servers for other maps. We're well aware of that. It's just right now, that's not something that we're currently prioritizing. Some biome guides would be cool. I do have biome guides jotted down. That one is definitely one I could definitely get to work on. I think that'd be a lot of fun as well. We'll talk about some of the updates and some of the things that are still being worked on that we've identified a fix for that you can expect to see in the upcoming patch and as well as additional patches. Guide videos on taming some dinos would be fun. Also, guys, if you're in the Discord, I do have a server ad in there as well that you can post your recommendations. So all of these you can post there as well. Aquatica guide video suggestions is the server ad. So just look for that. You can add in there as well. Please fix the problem when you kill a lobster, the carcass sinks into the ground and you can't pick up its body. Happens to me all the time. I'll jot that down and see if I can't get one of our team members to screenshot that comment there. Jacob, thank you for letting us know that. I haven't encountered that myself when going through and playing. But yeah, if you could submit a bug report in the Discord or... other big bug is not working shop plugin. It crashes server. Most official. Okay. Working shop plugin. I'll write that down just in case. If you go to the Discord, GWB, in the Discord, you will find a game support channel, and in there is a bug report button. You can add a new post of your bug report. That's how we are. That's how we are going through these bugs. No ETA on the next patch. No ETA, not yet. But as soon as we get an update on that or anything of the sort, then we'll be pushing that to you guys. Can I possibly ask for the status on Pre-Aquatica branch? Do you feel this is well underway to being removed so that the game can become one install again? Jamie, can we get an answer for Charlie regarding his question on the Pre-Aquatica branch? Draco, we're going to talk about that one. Glad you brought that up. Is it meant to be that the Volcanithus boss fight spawns infinite amount of small snakes? So they should be spawning in clusters. And when you if you don't eliminate the smaller Vulcanites as they spawn in, then they begin to overwhelm the arena and they can begin to overwhelm the players in your tames. So it's vital that once they spawn, it's like mob clearing or ad clearing in a dungeon or a raid. You want to clear the ads before you're going on and then resuming DPS on the boss. Possibility to remove Stinger and add instead. So I don't believe we're not in any position to remove the stinger, because I know there are players that do enjoy the stinger, and the stinger has been a fun feature. There have been issues with it, such as crashes and the stinger disappearing, which we are also currently working on as well. Mainly the stinger disappearing issue. We pushed out a fix in our last update that originally players were crashing when other players were flying stingers around them within close proximity. So since then, that has been fixed. So we're still addressing the issue of the stinger disappearing. Any specific settings to change lower to get better FPS and optimization? When I play, I play on medium settings, and then I disable the motion blur, and then have my render distance set to about 65-70%. And for me, that gives me some pretty good frames. In regards to FPS and optimization, that is something we're going to talk about here when we go through what's to come with the and the upcoming patches. That is something that's still an ongoing fix. So expect to see FPS fixes and optimization fixes through update increments instead of just one big patch. Yeah, we're also aware that the Stinger can shoot unlimited ammo. We're addressing that as well. Snail wants you to do another DLC after fixing Aquatica. What kind of biome theme would you want to give more representation? That's a great question. It's a great question to even know, what we're doing next after this, because we don't know. After Aquatica, Studio Sirens we're still trying to figure out, where our path goes from here as far as next game or IP or whatever that might be. So it's a great question. Stinger can't open inventory while you ride. So as you're in the middle of flying it, the Stinger won't open inventory. Also, we'll give about 20 more seconds here. Jammy's going to continue answering questions for you guys. I'm going to move on to talking about some of the following fixes for the upcoming patches. All right. I think that's something we should definitely get into. Guides on all the new water resources we can now get would be cool. Okay. Hold on, let me write that down. All right. Let's talk about some of the upcoming fixes and upcoming changes that are going to be addressed in not just the next patch, but future patches. Keep in mind that not all of what I'm about to address and talk about will be in the next patch when that arrives. These will most likely be, some of them may arrive in the next patch, while others may be addressed and pushed out in future patches. These are still things that we're actively working on a fix for, and we are testing the fixes that we found for them. So they're going to be, while they're work in progress, expect to see these soon, okay, as far as the updates go. So first off, loot chests. We know loot chests were a big question. People are asking, where are loot chests in the cave supply crates? Where are those at? So we have added loot chests, and we'll be adding cave supply crates across the map. We fixed various issues with the hydrosphere. One specifically where the player goes from a walking to a swimming animation while still in the hydrosphere. That will be something that will be pushed out and fixed in a future patch. We've added new visual effects to volcano supply crates to make them more easy to notice and spot when swimming around Aquatica. Mantis shrimps can now be tamed using the monodon horns. You can also find and expect to see fixes for tech floating foundations. There was an issue where the tech floating foundations had the HP variants and the settings for stone. That has since been updated and will be pushed out in a future patch. Pearl vacuum compartments having tech structure settings instead of stone. That has since been a fix. We fixed the Homerus not being able to mate underwater. That was an issue that was being reported by players. The Takifuju torpedo This is a ability that the Takifuju or the pufferfish can, once you have it tamed, you can enable. Essentially, you just launch it like a lawn dart, and it creates a AoE damage effect and explodes, but it doesn't kill the tame. So we did find in a previous dev stream that was actually bugged, so that has since been fixed. The Rift Crawler. Everyone's asking about the Rift Crawler. Can we tame the Rift Crawler? When can we tame the Rift Crawler? Expect to see in future patches, in a future patch, whether it be this next one or an upcoming patch, a fix for the Rift Crawler, so you'll be able to tame it finally. And for those of you who aren't aware, taming it, blunt force trauma, just a blunt force tame, and then feeding it berries since it's a herbivore. So we found a fix for that. We're testing the fix, so expect to see Rift Crawlers finally be tameable in an upcoming patch. Another issue, too, was the merperson skin color. So whenever you applied a mutation to your character, when you started building a new survivor, regardless of the color that you were picking, from the blues, greens, etc., your character was always appearing green. And then humans were always appearing in the lighter skin tones, regardless of change. So we found a fix for that, and we've identified that, and that will be pushed out. So now you should see the proper color material on your player's skin that you've selected in the new survivor. Yes, they're merfolk. They're not mermaids, right? They're not mermaids. They don't have tails, right? But your character, when you create a new survivor, you're able to change the skin color. You apply a mutation, essentially. And you can mutate your survivor to look like a merfolk, which we're actually going to go check out here. Will that change existing characters? No. If you already have an existing character, if you want to have like the different skin tones, things like that, then you'll most likely have to make a new character. And then obviously with these FPS level optimization, these are still a continued work in progress. I do want to iterate something about the server transfers and server issues. We're aware of the questions from the community asking, when are transfers going to be fixed? When are these issues going to be addressed? They're still currently being addressed. This is a long-going issue. This isn't something that we can easily just push a button to fix. This one is a little bit more of a complicated fix, but we're still addressing the situation. We've been addressing it day in, day out, and we want to make sure that when we test the fix that we're working on for the server issues, that we confirm that it's working, we confirm it in our test branch, and we want to be sure that when we push out the update for these fixes, that's the only time we have to push out the fix, right? We don't want to push something out to you guys that is either going to break or down the road break on you. We want to make sure that it's stable across the board going forward. So we appreciate you guys' patience on this. We know that, again, can be a little nerve-wracking with having to wait on big bugs like this in this situation, but we are still working on it. And any new updates, any new ETAs, things like that, as always, we will continue to push those out to you guys. So again, thank you to everyone who has been patient with us through this process. Thank you for everybody who's been giving us feedback as well as continued bug reports. We have been listening, and that's something that we do appreciate dearly. So. Any questions about any of the notes or the fixes that I covered? Any questions at all? Do I need to go over any of them again? The floor is open. Monodon horn tame from... Yeah, so for the mantis shrimp, if you're on a monodon, so the monodon has the ability to essentially use its tooth or its horn to acquire fish for taming it. Or excuse me, sorry, just the regular mantis, not the mantis shrimp. Sorry, I flip-flop those. Oh, no worries, Rachel. So, again, adding loot chests as well as supply crates to caves across Aquatica, that's something that will be introduced. We fixed various issues with the hydrosphere, such as, the players still in a swimming animation when they're in the bubble itself instead of walking. The Homerus not being able to mate underwater, as well as the Takifuju torpedo. If you remember in the last dev stream, the issue where we launched it in torpedo mode and it didn't go down its projectile path like it was supposed to. So we've identified a fix for that, and we'll be pushing out in a patch. The mutation skins, when you create a new survivor, how regardless of what color you select, your character will always be green. We found a fix for that, and we'll be pushing that out in a future update. The floating foundations for tech having the stone settings has been fixed. The Pearl Vacuum has also found a fix for that, is its settings and HP as well. Yes, the pufferfish has been fixed. It's not in now, but in a future update, it will be pushed out. So we'll be pushing out an announcement regarding those patch notes. So just pay attention to the patch notes when they come out and read off on there. As well as, of course, additional things like the FPS and level optimization being a continuous update, server issues still being addressed, and what was the other one? Mod situation as well. Will mods be fixed like Awesome Teleporters and S+? Yes, so we are, like Jamie said there, we're hoping to address and identify a fix for those as soon as possible. That's something that S+ especially is something that a lot of people have been asking about, and so that's on the table for us right now, and we're finding a fix for that as we go. So in short, that's just a brief rundown, a little recap of those. Of course, not a problem. Crack. So the answer to that is we don't know, right? Like that's more of, we'd have to find out what we're doing first as a team, in regards of, what comes after Aquatica for us, right? And we don't know. We don't have that answer yet. So. All right. So I've gotten down guides on tames, the shop plugin bug, that was one, right, bug next to that. I kind of have a big list going here. Resource guides, biome explorations, which we talked about in the past. Anything else you guys can think of you'd want to see? Can't make a report. I can't find my Steam ID. Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Sorry about that, Crackmore. I took it completely in a different context. It was more about what if you could choose the next project yourself. Ooh. If I could choose the next project myself. It's a really good question. I think I think doing an expanse on the Aquatica story, me personally, in my opinion, if I had to choose the project myself, it would be an expanse on Aquatica's story, expanse in covering, the Thalassians, getting more fun points of interest of Thalassian ruins scattered across the depths and the surface of Aquatica, kind of going more into that storyline. I think that'd be really, really cool. Ooh, I almost dropped my pen. Purple dinos only, and all of them can wear a cool hat. Why purple dinos only? More storyline continuation? Yeah, I think it'd be cool. I'm all about story. That's my thing. I love environmental storytelling and just the fun little details like that, and I think it'd be awesome. Barney core. Just purple dinos everywhere. Oh, you got the bug report in? Sweet. Glad to hear that, GWB. Will mud puppies ever be able to wear hats? Jammy, you need to answer that question from Ash. That's a cool idea. Really cool idea. Have I shown off Plant Species W? Not yet. We're actually about to dive right into that here. Just going to get things loaded up. I'm going to stay on the intermission screen, though, so I can see your questions. I always like having the chat up, too, so everybody can kind of see what's going on in the chat log. They should be able to now? All right. Ash, there is your answer right there. Mud puppies should be able to wear hats now, but he's going to check to make sure that's working. What's the sky thing about it turns red and sort of looked like? So basically, when the sky turns red like that, that means for a beginning player, run in fear. For a late game player, get your gear, get your weapons and your tames, and dive down because there's a rift spawn going on in the deep. Get some really cool stuff. Nope, didn't miss it. Did not miss it. Isn't Aquatica a biome in space with all the other arcs? It is not. It is not a biome in space. I mean, technically, well, no. It's not technically. It's not in space. A tech submarine would be cool. That would be cool. Aren't we all in space? We are, technically. We're technically in space right now. You're in space. I'm in space. This room is in space. We're just supported by gravity right now. Space is a crazy thing. Throw us a little Volcanithus and Fractalis lore. We all know about the Samathua. What's up with the rest? Ooh. Ooh. I don't know, Jammy. Jammy, can we bust out the lore? My game name is the same as my Twitch ID. You can find me as Z Swell, in game, running around. You don't know that lore? Oh, do I need to go? I'll have to go to our lore expert, see if we can get permission. I'll get back to you on that, Nanos. It's a good idea. You haven't found 10 Explorer notes legit? I found all 60 Explorer notes legit. Don't want to brag or anything. What's the cooldown for the biggest Rift event? Jamie, what is it? Isn't it like 15 minutes? It's 50. It's either 15 minutes or every 15 minutes the supply drops will spawn. A guide on where to find the Explorer note. Oh, the greater every couple hours. Okay, cool. Then the every 15 minutes was a supply drops. There we go. Can you can end the greater rift by logging off. Or you can. So you just don't want to do a greater lift, so you just I'm done, log off. The guide on where to find the Explorer notes. Yeah, I think they'd be good. Maybe a long video. They'd be fun though. I'll write that down. I'm still writing down ideas, guys, so if you guys have any, please put them in chat. Man, I want to push this up to our engineering crew. Camera's super bright now. How about now? Is that better? I've got a little window behind my desk. Well, I got to let some natural lighting in, so I got to change it every now and then. I think we're gonna go ahead and sit down too. Been standing for a minute. Oh, puppy? Did you say puppy? Oh, he is here. Hi, buddy. You coming to say hi? Hi, Clyde. Are you coming to say hi too? Thanks, guys. Yeah, good boys. Good boys. All right, watch out, watch out. Aquatica stuff we can buy, like posters, coffee mug stickers. I mean, as far as merch goes, I'm not sure. That would probably be a question for marketing and things like that. I would love a coffee mug. I do enjoy coffee. When I'm not drinking energy drinks or something, I definitely do enjoy a coffee. I want to make a preference right now that the reason for the long wait time and the situation right now is we're currently on our test branch. This is not the live build, so nobody freak out. The the freezing issues and the long primal game data is not back again. This is on our end for where we test things. So another example of what I was talking about when it came to when we identify a fix, we want to test the fix and address it to make sure that other things don't break. Prime example. So this is our testing ground. So hopefully we can get in and show you guys some Plants BCWs. If we can't, I feel like that's something I can make up to you guys. We could talk about Plant Species Ws in one of the first guide videos. I can work to get something going and work on that to have out to you guys by the weekend. How does that sound? Little guide video. Stopped playing ASC. So when I came back for Aquatica, it was like starting from zero again. Yeah, I feel that when you get back into a game you haven't played in ages, you know, you're brushing the dust off of your skill set, or it's like going back to an old save. You ever done that before? You guys ever roll back to a very old save of a game you haven't played in ages, and you're like, what was I doing here? Like, suddenly you spawn in, there's a car on fire, people are freaking out, and you're just like, what chapter of the story did I even, like, what is this? You know, you have to, like, go back and almost restart the whole game again just to figure out what you're doing. What do tridacnas eat? Sorry, I just saw that question. What do tridacnas eat? Mine won't. Worms. Oh, Jamie already answered it. Yeah, at that point, you just start a new game. Clams love... Oh, did you figure out bubblegum? Just worm gum? They love the worm gum? Is that what you're telling me? Yeah, you heard of worm gum? We can make worm gum, GWB. Should I feed them worm gum when I have already tamed them? I believe you can still feed them worm gum when you already tame them. All right. Guys, give me a second. I'm going to push this up to our engineering team. They may also already be tracking it already since they're watching. So most likely won't be getting to the Plant Species W, but don't freak out. We're going to get you guys a little Plant Species W showcase. Hey, look at that. Look at that. Woo! Got a crash. Let's go. All right. Oh, love to see that. First one on stream, too, I do believe. So we did it, chat. W's in chat for that. That was phenomenal. Wow. Well, let me roll it back to the main build. Yeah, that's Ark. Any weekend event for this weekend? As regards to dev streams, developer streams, not on the weekend, but I do have some things scheduled to push out this weekend for you guys on a personal production level regarding some guides. So I'll have a new one to add to this as well. It'll be pretty quick to throw together. Penny Live asked, did you play Ark before joining Studio Sirens? I did. I was not a hardcore Ark player, though. I played it year one when it released on Xbox, played the island. I was mostly a single player Ark Survivor. I still am to this day. I don't really dabble in PvP much. I definitely do enjoy a lot of more PvE and solo experiences, and building. Crafting and building are my favorite part about Ark, personally. I love building structures and just building maps, if you will, or like villages and little things like that. So I always did enjoy that. But it was one of those games where every now and then I'd be on and off. So not all of us are PvE. We have some that are into PvP heavily and do enjoy that side of it. Oh yeah, no. It's rolling back. It's gonna take a minute to update, so we're gonna run out of time there, but that's okay. It's about a 60-40 ratio. When will transferring servers on clusters be an option again? The Master, thank you for addressing that. So we talked about that earlier at the start of the stream and previous streams. That falls under our server issue category that we're addressing. That remains a high priority for us, and we're still looking for a fix on. Once we've found a fix and we've confirmed that the fix is working and is stable, then we'll be providing updates and information on that. So. Take a sip of my water. All right, guys, we're gonna do about 10 more minutes here. I want to go straight back into a QA. I know you guys have been asking plenty of questions. I do apologize again for not getting gameplay in. This is, like I said at the beginning, going to be more of a shorter stream. Not really a whole lot of exciting stuff going on, but we still wanted to come on, maintain the schedule, and bring some sort of news to you guys in regards to, you know, what to expect in the upcoming patch as well as future patches. And chat, you know, hear you guys' feedback, because these are also more about hearing your feedback as well. Worm gum? What about worm gum? Is it true AI, Granny, in which fashion? Can you elaborate on that? Like, is it true AI was used in what, I guess, what specific? And if you're referring to the AI trailer, yes, that was an AI trailer. Studio Sirens had no involvement in that trailer, or anything to do with that at all. Yeah, no, that first trailer, it was an AI trailer, but like I said, we had no involvement in that or say in it or anything of the sort. And you know, honestly, Drun, that's the way that I play. You know, take your time with it, and that's a great way for people to experience Aquatica, because while it is a majority underwater map, it's one of those things where you can take as much time as you need to venture inward, right? Not only to help get yourself immune to the pressure sickness, which that's another thing too. I want to talk about the pressure sickness, because people have been asking, like, how do you stop pressure sickness? Like, how do you get rid of that? And it's a pretty simple way. There's a couple ways you can be immune to it indefinitely. So we'll throw a guide in there for that. Yeah, not a problem. I don't want to farm earthworms with my hands. Any tips about it? Better farming? Jamie, is there a tame that for farming earthworms? Could you remind me? Worm tame. But no, so back to the map thing. It's one of those where even folks who maybe have somewhat of a phobia of water, right? There's plenty of coral reefs and cliff faces that allow you to dip your toes in, literally, and, you know, get accustomed to the resources and what you're going to be able to find and how to gather certain harvestables, where to build bases, how to survive, starting with the plant species W, right? Which in the video that I want to make for that, we'll go over, what the plant species is, what it's used for, and then, extracting the seeds, and then planting your own plant species W anywhere underwater, essentially, as long as you have an underwater farm plot. I'm not sure. I'm not sure on that one, Crackmore. A trading system? That'd be cool, like a player-to-player trade. That'd be pretty sick. Add that to the Froggo. All right. I mean, to be fair though, a frog tame that could harvest worms would be pretty legitimate. Raven, we appreciate that. Thank you so much. Yeah, Jade, I don't know if you heard. We just talked about that. That is one of the upcoming fixes. We've identified a fix. Expect to see that your rift crawlers will be tameable in a upcoming patch. Regarding if it's the next patch, I'm not sure. I have to get more information and clarification from the team, but rift crawlers are going to be tameable. They're going to be tameable. So no more waiting on the rift crawlers. You can have your army of rift crawlers. Finally. I think we'll do that whenever that update decides to go live. We'll do a stream, and it's just a spam of rift crawlers everywhere. All right, guys, we got about 3 more minutes. Is there anything else? Any other questions? Anything you guys have experienced with this last update, the one we pushed out on Monday, that you'd like to address that we have not seen yet? So the server issues, if I would ping an admin in the Discord with that situation and then ping them in your bug report, GWB. Us as devs, we don't have control over the status of this like in-game servers, so that's something to reach out to an admin for or a game master. Will spawn codes for Aquatica creatures be released to the public? I believe they already have. Am I correct in saying that, Jammy Egg? I hope I can get tech suit. So tech suits, like the tech gear, like the gauntlets, chest piece, things like that, you'll be able to acquire from the bosses. My only complaint about this map is that it's on PC only. So we don't, we as a studio don't have any insider knowledge on, what's next for other platforms on that. So we were brought solely to work on it for Steam and PC. Steam specifically. I notice the game stutters and freezes once in a while. That is my main issue from the last patch. Stutters and freezes. Where does it stutter and freeze? Could you elaborate? Adirius GWB is the admin. You should be able to ping him. So it won't be a flyer. There are no flyers technically on Aquatica, just for the purpose of it, being the whole point for the player is to dive down, to go down, right? And explore underwater and not necessarily spend too much time above ground, above water on the starting islands. So that's why there are no flyers, right? Because if there were flyers, then you wouldn't really have much of a space to use those flyers in on the surface, right? So it would still leave them in a, it would make them null and void essentially with this. Whereas using the wyverns underwater for swimming, as well as like monodons and other tames that have faster swim speeds, that's something, you know, to look for as well. Did you fix anti-mesh area top right of map? Top right, just in the vicinity of top right? Jamie, can we get a question on that? I'll do a couple more questions here. We'll go a couple more minutes here. Exactly, everything's flying when you're under the water. When are you going to fix transfers? That's still an ongoing fix, boss. That remains a top priority for us. We don't have a current ETA, and the simple reason why it's not something that hasn't been seen is because it remains a more of a complicated fix, right? And tedious in a way that we want to make sure that whenever we are identifying a fix and testing it, that nothing else in the background, right, is going to cause issues for the player, or cause issues when an update or a patch for the server fix would be pushed out. So we're taking our time with it for that reason, that we want to get it right the first time, and we want to make sure that it's stable for the long term, right? We don't want to push something out that was half-baked and, you know, causes similar, if not additional problems for you and your playing experience. So we appreciate your patience with this. And again, as soon as we get more updates and continue to get more, like a more isolated ETA, the Discord as well as you guys in the community will be some of the first to know. So I want to connect my land base to my underwater base. Will that be possible? Yeah, that should be possible. I've done it before in my own personal bases. If I ever do another casual stream where it's just me, like outside of working hours and everything, playing the game, I'll show you one of the little bases I built. But essentially, I built a underwater platform, and then I have a spiral staircase that goes up to the surface of the island with a little other platform for a raft. So it could be, you know, a multi-level. But yeah, and yeah, you will be able to do that. You should be able to do that now. All right, guys. We're going a couple minutes over. Again, I apologize for this not being a super exciting stream. Just, again, we still have a lot of things that we're working on, and we still wanted to be able to provide you guys with some context and updates on how the team's doing, what we're working on, as well as what to expect to see in the upcoming patches, right? And if any additional details for these patches or patch notes come out, we'll be pushing that out as well. So please be sure to pay attention. Keep an eye out in the Discord. Exclamation Discord in chat. Oh, not Discord. There we go. If you guys are joining in late, don't worry. You can find this entire YouTube video, or excuse me, this entire Twitch VOD, start to finish, raw and unedited on my YouTube channel, exclamation YouTube in chat. You'll find a whole playlist of Ark Aquatica dev streams where we go similar segments like this, Q&As, patch notes. We do some explorations. So if you guys want to see the other biomes that you may have missed out on in earlier streams, be sure to go check those out. We explore those. And on that note, before we leave, nobody take off yet. You guys know what time it is. We're going to go find somebody to stream, or we're going to go find somebody to raid. Better yet. We always do this. We always go share the love. We want to make sure that, you know, people get some other viewers in their streams, playing Ark, having a good time. So let's go find somebody to raid. Who's playing what? Somebody needs help getting more wyverns. Should we go help them get some more wyverns? let's go get some more wyverns. Let's go help them out. So we'll go raid Space Girl Spiff. Get that set up. All right, well, that's getting going, and we're getting everybody loaded in here to go over there and raid. Thank you guys so much for tuning in today. Again, I know it was a bit more of a less exciting stream, but again, we want to make sure you guys are kept up to date on everything going on in the development and the patch notes for Aquatica, what's to come, what's next for us as Studio Sirens. That being said, I will see you guys next Tuesday at 2 p.m. Pacific time for more Aquatica updates, potentially some patch notes, and some more in-game exploration and playing. So, yeah, till then, everybody take care. Join the Discord. Come hang out. Come say hi. And I will see you all in the next one. Later.